Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. I just woke up. It's 7:30. 7:30. I'm not going to talk much more about it. My sleep schedule just sucks. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, let's jump into today's story time. So today's story time all takes place back in the wonderful year of 2010. Yeah, this is a long time ago, man. This is an old story time. I was just a little kid in this story. I was only 11 years old. Okay, so yeah, very young. And it was the summer. It was July 2010. And around this time was my buddy's birthday. I had this friend. We'll just call him Scott. Okay. Scott's birthday was on July 11th. So every year in the summer, he'd have a birthday party where everyone would go to his house and sleep over. And it was a big sleepover. He'd have like 15 kids come over and everyone would spend the night. And usually I wouldn't because I didn't like spending the night there. So I guess everyone but me would spend the night. And you're probably wondering, Austin, why didn't you like spending the night? Well, I spent the night at some people's houses, but, his house in specific, I didn't like sleeping there for two reasons. One, there was never enough room for this many people, so I'd have to sleep on the floor, and that shit hurt. And then two, he lived in a very, very dangerous neighborhood, and it scared me to sleep there sometimes. But this year, on his birthday, I decided I was going to sleep there. I was like, you know what? I'll just spend the night. It's my boy's birthday. I don't want to be the one kid that doesn't stay. Like, I'll spend the night, whatever. So yeah, this all starts off as a normal day. I woke up. It was the day of the party. Me and my mom went to the store because your boy wasn't the best friend that he should have been and didn't have a birthday gift ready. So I went to the store and I bought my homie a gift. Correction, my mom bought the gift. I picked it out because your boy had no money back then at 11 years old. I did not have a job because I was 11. So anyway, yeah, my mom took me to the store. I picked out a gift. We bought it. If you're wondering what I got him, it was a controller for his Xbox. So yeah, pretty dope. After this, we bought a card for him, and then we went back to my house, wrapped everything up, and then after that, I started getting ready for the party. I took a shower, started packing up my clothes for the night, getting everything in order that I needed to have for the sleepover, and like an hour or two later, I was on the way to Scott's house, and I was excited. I actually really was. I wasn't really nervous or anything like I usually am to sleep there. I was just excited to see all my friends and have a fun party. So fast forward, we get to Scott's house. My mom drops me off, says goodbye to me, thanks Scott's mom for having the party. She leaves, and I'm just with all my friends, man. And the party for the first 4 hours was so much fun, dude. At 11 years old, sleeping over at your friend's house with all your other friends from your school, just everybody together outside of school, able to just play video games and eat pizza and just be a kid, man. It was so much fun. I feel like an unk reminiscing right now, but it was a lot of fun, right? Well, Scott has this idea, 4 hours into the party, and at this point, the sun had gone down, so it's nighttime now, and Scott goes, yo, let's go outside and play hide and seek. Now, I said it earlier, but Scott lived in a not-so-nice neighborhood, and a lot of the crime that took place in his neighborhood was always after the sun would go down. So, it wasn't the most ideal time of day to be out there in that neighborhood playing hide and seek, So, I didn't like that idea very much, but I didn't want to be the only one in the group that said no, because everyone else wanted to. They were all on board with it. So I was like, yeah, sure. So, we all went outside. By the way, he didn't ask his mom if this was okay, because if he did, she would have freaked out. His mom was already upstairs, getting ready for bed, so we just, basically snuck out of the house. And we started playing hide and seek in Scott's neighborhood. And we were using the whole neighborhood, from Scott's house to the end of the street. Everyone was just, hiding wherever they wanted and, just finding good spots to hide, right? So the first 2 rounds of hide and seek were pretty normal and actually pretty fun. Nothing bad happened. Everything was good. But on the third round, this is where everything really, really kicks off, okay? So it was my turn to be the seeker, right? And I didn't want to be the seeker. I hated being the seeker because I sucked at it. I could never find anybody. I was always a way better hider than I was seeker, but it was my turn, fair and square, so yeah, I had to do it. So I went to this tree that everyone would count at, and I started counting. I gave everyone 2.5 minutes. And by the way, we had one rule about playing hide and seek in this neighborhood. You couldn't go in anybody's backyards. You could use some of the front yards, but you couldn't use the backyards. And even some of the front yards was stupid because that's still other people's property, but backyards seemed a little bit too far, so we didn't want to do that. Anyway, I counted 2.5 minutes. I start looking for my friends, and I'm seeking, and I'm actually doing pretty good so far. Within a minute, I find 3 people, right? So that's good. And we were playing the rule where if, you found people, they could help you look. So after I found those 3 people, they went and found like 2 more. And, like it was kind of a domino effect. I was doing good, right? We were finding a lot of people. Well, like 10 minutes later, we found everybody but 2 people. We were down to the last two people hiding. Everyone's looking. They must be in a good spot because we can't find them, right? And I kind of split off from the group of everybody looking to go and try and do my own, searching. And I went all the way to the end of the street. And there was this house on the left side of the street that looked pretty abandoned. It didn't look like anyone lived there. There was no lights on inside. Everything looked pretty abandoned. And there was this big tree in their front yard that was very overgrown and kind of spooky looking. And it was very easy to hide under. And no one had checked that tree yet. So I went over there and I start looking under the tree. And I'm like looking around and, trying to see if I could find them. I had my cell phone in my hand using that as a flashlight because I didn't have any flashlight with me. And after like a minute or two of inspecting around this big tree, I didn't find anybody. No one was there. No one was in that front yard. So I was like, okay, I'm going to leave this front yard and I'm going to go look in some other yard, right? And as I'm walking off that yard, leaving, I hear someone behind me. It sounded like the sound of a door opening, and then it sounded like footsteps. And that was weird to me, because I'm like, yo, that house behind me is definitely abandoned. No way someone just came out of there. But I had to turn around and check, so I turned around, and I see this man, like, straight out of, like, a movie, bro. Like, he's in his underwear, he's wearing a tank top, he's wearing no shoes, and he has a shotgun in his hand. And he proceeds to scream at me, not talk, not, yell, scream at me, "Get the fuck off my lawn!" And I'm like, okay. And I turn around and I ran as fast as I possibly could off that dude's lawn. And I ran up to my friends and they were like, yo, you find him? I was like, no, there's a man down there. Like that house that we thought was abandoned. Like there's a man in there. He just came out with a shotgun and threatened me. Like, we gotta go inside, bro. I'm fucking done with this game. So everyone immediately freaks out and starts like cowering inside to Scott's house. And we call up our friends, the ones that were hiding, on the cell phone. And we're like, yo, come inside. Like, game's over with. Some creepy ass guy came out with a shotgun and scared Austin. And, it's too dangerous to be out there. So come inside. And like 5 minutes later, both of my friends, they came into the house. They both walked in at the same exact time. And they sit down in the living room with us. And I asked them, I'm like, yo, where were you guys hiding? Like, we couldn't find y'all anywhere. And my friend, we'll just call him Jason, one of the 2 people that were hiding, he goes, you know that abandoned house at the end of the road? We were on the side of that house. We were like right on the side of it, hiding underneath a tarp. And I was like, what? That's the yard I got chased out of with the shotgun. And they're like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, dude. And Jason's like, I thought you were talking about like another house down the street. That's the one? Like, I thought that shit was abandoned. I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. I went and checked the tree and like looked around the tree in the front yard and stuff to see if you guys were there. And he came out and threatened me. Like, you guys didn't hear that? Like, he literally came out on his porch and yelled at me. Like, he screamed. And they were like, dude, we didn't hear anything. And I was, you guys gotta be fucking with me, right? Like, you're kidding, right? Like, you didn't hear that? You were right there. And they're like, dude, we honestly didn't. And they were being dead serious. They claimed to have not heard that man scream at me and threaten me, even though they were right there on his property, essentially. And I was like, all right, well, y'all gotta get your fucking ears checked or something, because, like, that is not good. Like, you didn't hear that? That's crazy. And yeah, essentially, my 2 friends, they were hiding on that dude's property because they thought that it was abandoned, just like I did. And they weren't caught. They were just there. And they didn't hear what happened or anything, which is insane to think about. Like, what if that guy, like, after he scared me off his property, what if he went around to the side of his house to, like, investigate and make sure no one else was there? And he saw them there. Like, what if he checked under that tarp and he saw them there? Bro, my friends probably wouldn't be my friends anymore. They'd probably be in a grave. But anyway, the story doesn't end there, okay? So the next day, his mom woke up, came downstairs, asked how our night was, and one of our friends told her the truth. He was like, we played hide and seek last night, and she didn't like that already. She was like, what? Like, you went outside? Like, why'd you do that? But then we, told her about the fact that a man with a shotgun, screamed at me and scared me off his property, and she freaked out. She immediately dialed 911, called the cops to that house down the street, and the cops went and investigated it. And guess what? After the cops went there and checked it out, they came back to Scott's house, and they proceeded to tell us that nobody lived there. The house got foreclosed years ago, like the bank took it back, and nobody lived there anymore. And they said after peeking through the windows, it looked like, maybe some homeless people went in and out of there throughout the year or so that it's been abandoned. So, yeah, that house was abandoned, And that man that came out in his underwear with a shotgun was literally just some homeless guy that was probably crashing there for the night. And the cops actually went back a couple times throughout the next couple days to see if they could find the man that was like squatting there, because Scott's mom was obviously very, very worried about that guy and like didn't want him coming back to the neighborhood and like, terrorizing anyone else. So yeah, they came back a couple times throughout the next couple days and they couldn't find the guy. He just wasn't there. And yeah, he was never found again. Like Scott told me, like they'd go by that house all the time, like on their bikes and stuff. They never see anybody in there. And like, just no one ever saw the guy again. Like based on the description I gave them, no one ever saw him again. So I don't know, man. The guy just like kind of haunted me for the next like year or two. Like every time I go to Scott's house, I was just like fearful that guy was going to pop up in the window and be like, I'm back. But that being said, that situation scared the shit out of everybody so bad that now every time Scott had a sleepover, he would either have us not go outside at all the whole night, or if he wanted to have a sleepover where we could freely roam the outdoors at night and be safe, we had the sleepover at my house. So yeah, guys, there was a very big moral to this story that I'm sure we all can guess. If you are a child, a young kid, you don't play hide and seek at nighttime, especially in a neighborhood as dangerous as Scott's. That is just a terrible idea. I can't believe none of us got hurt or like kidnapped or some shit. Honestly, even if you live in the safest neighborhood in the world, I probably wouldn't recommend playing hide and seek at nighttime as a child. It's definitely pretty dangerous. But believe it or not, this was the second time I played hide and seek in a bad neighborhood and some shit went wrong. I think I told the other story on this channel already. I'll have to go look, but if I haven't, I'll tell that one soon. Anyway, yeah, guys, that is the story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace.
I'm in a bad mood, I can see it today. I remember all my friends and now I'm all that remains. I got some bad news, gotta go, I can't stay. Yeah,